Welcome back to Mic'd Up and Misinformed with your with your hosts Mad Dog and Lunch Money. Today we're going to be giving out our predictions for the Kape versus Horiguchi UFC fight night coming up on June 20th.
This is
We got
this
a
is a
lot of new
decent
names on
card.
this card, but nonetheless, it's still going to be pretty exciting.
It
We
should
got a
still be a
good amount
good
of
card.
fights here.
Yeah, there's definitely some new people on here, some faces I don't recognize.
Yeah, so if you're a casual, you're not gonna know a lot of these names. I mean, we watch UFC all the time. There's a lot of names here that are unfamiliar to us as well. So we'll be learning some new fighters, and yeah,
Yeah,
the
these
only the only
first
one
two.
that's like has title implications is the Manel Cop and uh, Koji Horiguchi fight for the main event. Other than that,
Yeah,
there's every fight's meaningful, but none of these are like title contention type of fights on the card.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so first one of the night we have Shane Collins versus Atari Tanza Tanzalovi. Who do you got here?
So I lean towards Tanzalovi because he likes to box and he's got 7 KOs. But both of these guys, it's their first time in the UFC. I think maybe one of them was on the Contender Series and lost, but it must have been Tanzalovi. And then the other guy saying I don't he hasn't fought in the UFC at all. So and I think Shane took this fight on like last minute,
Or
like short
notice?
notice. Yeah. So I'm gonna take Tanzalone, but these are one of those these two first fights especially is kind of like stay away from or try not to get too crazy caught up in it because it's probably not the best thing. But they do have Tanzalovi as the underdog at plus 165. So knowing that he's had 6 knockouts, he was training for another fight. I think I like that the odds there more than anything. And then Shane Collins comes in at minus 195.
Yeah, I think the value's more on Atari, but I'm gonna take Shane Collins. I think Shane's gonna win this fight by decision.
Get it, boss. He called it out.
Next up, we have Carl Rosa versus Luana Santos. May I ask, what's the odds on this fight?
It's pretty even. Rosa at minus 125 and Santos at the underdog at plus 105.
About a coin flip.
But yeah, basically a coin flip. Yeah. So I like.
Rosa's 19-7. Santos is 10-2. I know Rosa's been in the UFC for a long time.
Yeah, Rose has been around for a while, and she's definitely a dog. I mean, she's not going to be an easy competitor, but I like Santos' grappling and submission skills better, and she's only lost 1 fight in her last 8 fights. So I mean, she's been on a heater.
Yeah, I would say she's definitely more on the incline, and she's only 26 years old. Carl Rosa, if anything, is more on the decline. Being at 31 years old, I don't feel like her game has grown much in the last couple of years. So, in
Yeah,
this matchup, especially if you tell me those odds, I really like Luana Santos.
yeah. Santos for the underdog is definitely your best bet here.
All right, next up we have Leon Shabazian versus Levon Shokeli. I think Shabazian is Edmund's brother, but I'm not 100% sure.
I would believe that. Shabazian comes in at plus 275, and Levon is at minus 340. So I mean, there's some big odds here. I mean, he's one of the bigger favorites on the card, and Levin's got 11 KOs out of his 14 fights. So I mean, same thing. This guy's a boxer for sure, and same thing. I think Leon had one contender series, but both of these guys, this is their first real fight in the UFC. So again, it's one of those fights. It's like they come in, you don't know what's going to happen. They're under all the lights, all the fanfare. So really I say stay away, but
Yeah, it looks like so. Shabazian's coming from Tough Enough. His last four fights have all been wins by submission. So, in my opinion, if you're going to take Shabazian, take him by submission to get even better value. And other than that, I think the fight is Chikeli's to lose. I'm going to take Chikeli by knockout here.
love it. Yeah, I think so. I same. You could probably bet either side and get plus money.
But honestly, it's really hard to predict who's going to win that fight because both guys do lack UFC experience and are looking to make a name for themselves. So
Yeah,
it's a huge step going from another low level organization to the UFC.
yeah, 100%.
All right, next up, I don't know too much about either one of these guys, so my prediction will be a pass on this. But who do you have for the Gaston Bolanos and Michael Aswell fight?
Same thing. This is kind of like a stay away. I like the under here personally. Both of these guys are looking for KOs. They're both heavy boxers, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of them gets caught in the dogfight. Gaston's 3-2 out of his last five. Michael as well as 2-3 out of his last five. So it's kind of a tough one on that side, and the odds are kind of crazy. Uh, as well as at minus 440, and Gaston's at plus 345. But the under is at plus 130. So I think the under 2.5 is your best bet on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I really don't have. I mean, I'm looking at Aswell's resume, and his two recent losses were to Aki and Luke Riley, and I know Luke Riley is a serious contender, so I'm leaning him. But I feel like the odds, he's too Aswell's too big of a favorite here. I
Yeah,
can't take.
at minus 440, that's tough. So
That's
I think
crazy.
just look for one of them to get the finish at plus 130.
Yeah. All right, man. Next up, we have um, Alan Nascimento versus Mitch Raposo.
Now, I will say
Raposo's 27 and Nascimento's 34 years old.
I'm surprised Allen's on the undercard and not on the main card for this one, dude, honestly. Allen hasn't lost in 5 years. He's the better grappler. I'm taking Allen, and the odds are minus 195, so I like the odds there too. Mitch Raposo's at plus
Wow.
165.
Because Raposo's lost. He won his last fight, but the two before that, he lost both by split decision. So it looks like it's hard to get him out of there, but he's lost two of his last three. And what's Nascimento? How big of a favorite is he?
Minus 195.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's a justifiable parlay piece.
Yeah, 100%. And he hasn't lost in 5 years. So, I mean,
Yeah,
even if he just
looks like he's
grapples his
ready for
legs and
more
plays.
some serious contenders.
Yeah, so that's why I was surprised to see he was on the undercard.
All right, man. So I'm with you on that. Nascimento probably gonna both of be in our parlays. I'm assuming.
Yeah, parlay. I think that's my first on the martingale.
Next up, we have a women's bantamweight matchup. We have Melissa Mullins versus Bia Mesquita. Mesquita 7-0. Mullins is 7-2. Close in age, 35 and 34, and close at reach advantage as well. So, who do you got in this one?
So this is kind of a boxer versus grappler. So I think Mosquito can get it done as long as she focuses on her grappling and wrestling, and even just focuses on control time overall. But minus 700, I think she's the biggest favorite on this card. I mean, the odds are ridiculous for sure. Melissa is at plus 500, and they even have it under 1.5. So I mean, I most of the time the fights go the distance, but both of these girls, again, Melissa's looking for the KO, Mosquito's looking for the submission. This is one of those fights where really I would personally just stay away or put Mosquito on an early parlay if you wanted to, and hope. But at minus 700, there's really just no value here.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. It's when I see a minus 700, it makes me want to say dog or pass. I do feel like B is going to win that fight though, but that's definitely a pass for me.
Yeah, there's just no value there.
Next up, we have Andre Lima versus Kevin Borjas. Let's see. I'm looking at they look similar in age, reach, height, weight. Okay, yeah, everything looks pretty similar. Lima is undefeated and Borjas is 10-5.
And Borjas, I think, has been on a losing streak, right? I think he's 1-4.
Yeah, Lima has had, after winning by unanimous decision on the contender series, he's won four fights since then, two decisions and two finishes. Let's see what Borjas has read. I know Borjas has been in the UFC a lot longer.
Yeah,
His
he just
last two
hasn't.
losses were to Sumadarje and Emmanuel Rodriguez. So two solid guys, but dude, I'm leaning. I'm gonna say that Andre stays undefeated in this matchup.
Yeah, I like Lima here, but it's the same thing. Minus 650. There's just not a lot of value here. and then
Dang,
Kevin
minus six
Borjas at
fifty.
yeah, and then
Oh
Borjas
wow.
at plus 475. But I do like Lima a lot here. I think he gets the job done no matter what.
Yeah, I like Lima could win by knockout or decision. If you're gonna take Borjas, anybody has a puncher's chance. So if you're gonna take Borjas, probably just take him by knockout, and that'll give you a big payout.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not playing that.
No,
Next up,
I
we
think
have Vinicius Oliveira versus Andre Fili. Vinicius was on his way to a title shot, but then he had got stopped by, I believe it was who was it? Mario Bautista.
Batista.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
because
think.
Oliveira came into that fight. One thing about him is you have to really pay attention to his weight cuts because he's a guy that cuts a lot of weight to make featherweight. And he's a monster, but he really battles the weight scale during
Yeah,
fight week, making weight. Andre Fili is a seasoned veteran. He's been in the UFC for a long time. Um, he's 25-13. I mean, he's probably I would bet you he's had at least 30 UFC fights. He's 35. Vinicius is 30 years old. Vinicius should win this fight, but it's just for me the question how professional is he going to be and
yeah.
showing up, making weight, and making sure he's ready to go. Versus with Andre Fili, even though he's probably a sizable underdog, I'm imagining for the odds. Um, you know that he's going to show up on weight, be a professional, and he's also a dog. He's not a bad kickboxer and does not have a bad ground game either.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better, dude. Feely at plus 230, Oliveira is at minus 280. I do like Vinicius overall on this fight, but this is one of the ones that you really want to wait to see. If he looks like he's exhausted and tired coming on the scale, you know his probably conditioning isn't the best, and he's probably not going to last all 3 rounds. So, I mean, it's kind of pick him to win in the first or second round or take Feely by decision. I think either one of these guys could submit the other, so this is kind of a weird fight to pick. I do like Vinicius, but at minus 280 again, there's not a huge value there, but I do like him overall.
Bro, I think I'm going to take Feely as the underdog. I
I
feel
mean,
like the public is
honestly, I
going to
don't
be on
blame you.
Oliveira on parlays. And, again, I know you're kind of same feeling as me, but I know Feely's going to come in fight ready. And I would
Yeah,
not be surprised if Vinicius has a bad weight cut. The odds might shift in Feely's favor. And again, I feel like public will be on Vinicius. And if it goes past round one, it's Feely's fight to lose because Feely's has a pretty good gas tank. And after round one, again, I think Feely should be the favorite if he can make it past the first 5 minutes. So I'm gonna
I
take a stab
agree.
at the underdog.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, Feely's been around so long; he's seen everything. There's nothing you can throw at him that he hasn't seen, or a fight that he hasn't been in. Basically, he's got the experience too.
If Vinicius is 23-4, and I'm not hating on him. I think he's a fantastic fighter, but the way that he lost to Mario Bautista, I feel like this fight right here is going to determine if he needs to change weight classes and go up to 155, go up to the lightweight division. Because again, I've said 100 times now, but he has a really hard time making weight. So
Yeah,
let's take Feely as a dog, bro.
I love it.
Next up, we have this is gonna be hard to pronounce. I got my tablet here. Murtazali Magomedov versus Melsik Bagdasaryan. Magdasaryan.
I like
um,
it, dude.
Me- Melsik is 8-3, and Murtazali is 10-0. So, of course, a Magomedov has a zero on the loss column.
100%, dude. Do not bet against Dakistani fighters.
What's
they can
what's the
out
odds on this, bro?
they can out wrestle everybody basically. Magamadov is at minus 320 and Melzik is at plus 260. And again, the grappling
Zelzik's
difference,
34. Magomedov's only 26.
yeah, the age
Magomedov's two
difference.
inches taller and reaches about the same.
And Melzik just got KO, so he's coming back in after getting knocked out. So, I mean, again, it's like sometimes they come in maybe not a full fight. I don't want to say fight ready, but they come in maybe a little conservative to start off, and that's when he can get caught by someone who's really pushing forward.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not fading Magomedov. Uh, uh, Magomedov. I'm taking him.
Yeah, you can't exactly, you can't fade him, especially undefeated. And again, younger fighter. He's got the wrestling experience, so everything points to him, and the odds aren't too bad for this. So at minus 320, I'm going to take him on a parlay piece.
Yeah, let's do it. Next up, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Hyder Emil. May I ask, what's the odds on this one? This is a good fight.
Rodriguez at minus 180, Emil at plus 155.
Okay, so this is a featherweight matchup. Um,
They both lost their last two fights, so both of them are coming in here looking for a win too.
well, this is a tough one, bro. So I feel like this is gonna go to a decision. So I feel like if I'm betting this fight, I'm taking the over because I feel like it's a coin flip. I think Emil is a little bit more talented, but Rodriguez is just a dog. It's so hard to fade him or bet against him. And Rodriguez is also 8 years younger. So for me, I think I'm taking Rodriguez, or I feel even safer taking fight to go the distance.
Yeah, so over 2.5 at minus 175. So I think that's a fair bet, like you said. But at minus 180, I do like Rodriguez, so I'm definitely taking Rodriguez here.
And neither guy's a big finisher. And these guys are lighter, so typically, the lighter the weight, the it typically goes to decisions more often.
Yeah,
So I'm definitely looking at this. Maybe Rodriguez wins a split or a unanimous decision here.
love it. Same page on that one.
Dude, next up, I hate to say it, but this is a lock. Navajo Sterling is going to absolutely dominate Ian Kutalaba. Ian has a puncher's chance. I love the Hulk, dude. I think he's a fun fighter to watch, but
Yeah,
his gas tank expires 3 minutes into the first round, and he's been in the fight. He's been in the UFC for a long time, but he's not a contender anymore. Navajo Sterling is a serious contender. I wouldn't be surprised if he fights for the belt within the next 2 years. This is just another stepping stone on his path to contention.
100%, dude. Sterling is at minus 310, but like you said, I think he's a lock. I would take him all day against Ian. I mean, he has more path to victories. He can kind of do whatever he wants. Like you said, unless Ian catches him with a puncher's chance in the first round, he's just going to get out wrestled. Out, his conditioning's never as great. He's just going to get beat up in every facet. So as long as Sterling can kind of keep the distance and focus on his fight the first round, and then he could just maul the shit out of him the next two if he wants.
Yeah, just weather the storm in the first and you're cruising the rest of the fight. And, I wouldn't do any prop bets on Sterling because I think in rounds 2 or 3, he could win by knockout, submission, or he could cruise to a decision. So I
Yeah.
think it's safer just putting him into a parlay piece. But for me, I would take Sterling up to minus 500, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, I mean
I
this
think
is
that
great.
kind of tells you already that's locked into my parlay.
Yeah, minus 310. I mean the odds are super favorable for us.
Yeah. All right, dude. So we're Sterling to the moon. And then, all right, we got our main event here. We have um, Horiguchi versus Manel Kape. Dude, this is an absolute banger. I want to say whoever wins this fight will more than likely be fighting for the championship next against Josh Van if Pantoja's not fully ready to come back yet.
I can see that. Now these guys did meet back in 2017 in a different federation, and Horiguchi got Cape in an arm triangle. So it was kind of a revenge fight for Cape, and he strategically he's got a plan already for Horiguchi. So I'm taking Horiguchi, man, at the underdog position. Horiguchi at plus 135.
Wow, I would not be surprised at all if the odds flip and Horiguchi becomes the favorite on Saturday. Um, there's other members that American Top Team where Horiguchi trains, and they say that he's one of the best fighters that they've ever trained with. They think this guy's a serious title contender, and I don't see him losing to Cop. I think Horiguchi, the reason I'm taking him is because he has more paths to victory. He could get a submission, knockout, or decision win here. I do worry about if it stays standing the entire fight and Horiguchi cannot mix the takedowns, then I might get a little bit nervous that Cop could find a finish or
Yeah.
win by points. If it's a Muay Thai kickboxing fight, now it's more of a 50-50. So I'm betting that Horiguchi mixes it up well though and wins a close decision here.
Yeah, I don't exactly. I don't see. I think Horiguchi knows he can take him down. He submitted him before already. So I think his game plan should be come in, like you said, take the wrestling, use the grappling in his advantage, and look for the submission again. Don't get caught up in the dogfight, you know?
Yeah, and Kape does a good job of stirring the pot and getting you wound up during the fight and trying to bring out the emotions in you. The only thing I'm a little bit annoyed of, I guess, as a fan is Horiguchi's 35 years old. He had taken a pretty long break during the UFC and then came back more recently in the last like 2 years to fight again. And, he's just one of those, in my opinions, another one of those what ifs. If he would have been more active, I think he could have been probably a champion defending his belt right now.
100%, dude. Yeah, but I think he still has the skill. He doesn't seem like he's a 35-year-old fighter. You know, he still seems like he's much younger. And like you said, the American top team. I think this guy, he's got all the arrows are pointing towards him. And like we said, it seems like at least one underdog wins for the co-main or the main event every time. So
Yeah,
everything's pointing to
2026
him.
is the year of the underdogs, man. All the main event underdogs are coming through. So I'm gonna have to start throwing away logic when it comes to betting on main events.
Right, dude. So everything
But
tells me Horiguchi at plus 135 is where it's at.
well, I'll tell you right now, he will be at the end of my parlay, so it's super hedgeable if the parlay survives the early storm.
Love it.
All right, bro. So you want to say yours first?
All right, so my martingale, I'm taking Alan Nascimento at minus 200. I'm taking Christian Rodriguez at minus 185. And then I'm going to take Oliveira at minus 260. So again, I just need one of those three guys to win, and then I'm set.
You
And
doing that
then
for the martingale?
I'm doing that for the martingale, yeah. So then
Okay, sweet.
um, for the my I'm gonna do one parlay for one unit. Magomedov at minus 320, Lima at minus 675, and Sterling at minus 310. And it basically pays me even money at minus 101. So one unit to win one unit, and we're up 4 units total this year. So even though we had a
Bro,
couple of
sorry about the
bad weeks.
USA card. I had Alex Pereira and Ilya Taporia and was off on both of those.
I mean, we both had Taporia, so we can't be upset at that one. But we were flipped on the Alex Pereira fight. Again, like I said, I don't think he could handle that much force going up in weight class. I just think he hasn't had that much power coming at him before, and it kind of showed. Whether or not some of those shots were illegal or not is another story.
Yeah. But he in my opinion, what dropped Pereira was Gon's jab, and that was fair and square. That jab,
Yeah,
rocked him. So, and I think Gon was picking him apart before that clearly. So, he definitely won that fight, and I think that just shows that there's a reason that there's weight classes in the UFC
yeah,
and in fighting
exactly.
in general. All right, go ahead and
Uh,
shoot out your parlay.
that was it. That was it. So what was it? Sterling, Oliveira, and oh no, Sterling. Shit, I already forgot. Let me go back to you. Sterling, Lima, and Magomedov.
Okay, okay, I like that. That's a good one. All right, so this is what I'm thinking, bro. Leg one for me, Luana Santos.
Yep, Santos.
No offense to women, but I always get so nervous betting a women's fight.
For sure, dude. For sure.
um, Next up, I'm gonna throw in Navajo Sterling, and then the last leg will be Horiguchi, and hopefully that's hedgeable. You know what? I'm gonna take the over on the Horiguchi. No, I'm just gonna take Horiguchi.
All
My
right.
bad.
You're good. You're good. So plus 537.
Okay, that's a pretty good parlay right there.
Yeah, 1 unit to bet 5 units. I like that.
And then um Let's see. All right, let's do a crazy one, bro. Let's
Yep.
do Horiguchi,
All right.
Sterling, um, let's do Andre Fili, Andre Lima, Alan Nascimento. Let's do let's leave it at that. Let's do
All
that.
right. That's stacking up. So for a 5 leg parlay, plus 1682. So I mean that's great.
It's not bad.
So let's do a quarter unit on that one. So a
Okay,
quarter
yeah, I was gonna
unit
say even
is
yeah, quarter or tenth because I'm not real. I'm not real confident about Andre Fili. I just think that there's a lot of value on him.
yeah, there's definitely some value. That's why I say I love the other picks, but Feely's the only kind of risky one. But for a
Yeah,
quarter unit to win 4 units, I'll take that, dude. That's fair.
yeah. So if you want to take Fili off, I think that's a pretty safe parlay, even though there's multiple legs on it. But like I said, I think Fili does have some is a live dog.
Yeah, I'll
Especially
take the
in
value,
those
dude.
first Oliveira gasses out too.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, that they just don't know who's going to show up, how the weight cuts go. That's kind of the only problem with doing this so early in the week. We don't get to see like not even all the lines are out. Sometimes we can't even see the like the KO and the finish lines or betting by the round specific. So I mean, we're just trying to get the content out early so you guys have a chance to listen and stuff. But we'll just
Yeah,
do what
we
we say.
record these on Wednesday evenings, so if you listen to this on Friday or Saturday, just know that things
Stuff
always
can
could
change.
change. And
Yeah,
we
stuff
we
can
do
change.
put in if I think the odds, I know you're the same way, but if I think the odds are going to shift a lot, I'll try to get a good bet in earlier in the week if I think the
Yeah,
odds are
for
going to
sure.
shift a lot, but other than that, I think overall it's better to probably just bet the day of the fight, to be honest, because that way you have all the data, because it's a
Yeah,
little risky. Even if you or me put in a bet now early and it has good value, the weight cuts and everything are still to be determined. So
yeah.
it is a little bit risky. So if you're a newbie and you're betting, it's safest to just bet the day of the fight. That way you know how the weight cut went and you have a little more information on your fighter.
For sure. And especially for this, like if you see the odds dramatically shifted, like, 200 or 300 points, something's up. Either somebody knows something or someone was injured or, someone's weight cut didn't go well. Like if it's a huge shift, something's up, even if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, facts, bro. But yeah, those are our picks. Um, if you had, if you did like one straight bet, what would be your safest pick on the card?
I think Sterling, dude, honestly, at minus 310, that would be my like best lock of the night, honestly. Again, the odds are decent. I would love them to be a little bit better, like 250 or under. But I mean, at minus 300, I think he gets the job done 9.5 out of 10 times.
Yeah, bro, I feel the same way. I feel like, because and I know this isn't attractive to a lot of like the majority of bettors because people want to see like a pretty return on your money. But,
Yeah,
people with a ton of money, let's say if you're betting like, I don't know, 100 grand, you're winning. If you're risking 100, you're winning 30 grand on Sterling. So,
right. I would take
I,
30% return, like a
yeah,
30%
that's what I'm
return in the
saying.
stock
So
market.
if I
That
was the
way,
big better and I'm looking for a lock, I
yeah,
think Sterling would probably be my pick as well, bro. And Kutalaba has a puncher's chance in the first round, but I think you could say that about most fights.
so let's take Sterling for 2 units for the lock of the night. I'll do that, dude. Done.
Yeah, well, let's just do that for fun. That I mean, if it loses, oh well. But that way we could build a little banker on whoever we think's gonna win, even if it's not like the prettiest, because a lot of people just don't want to see that return on their money. But
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, because like you said, the betters they want some juicy ass bets, and I think that's what gets people mostly in trouble. But like, if you were doing the stock market and you got a 30% return, you'd be excited. You'd be happy about that.
right, 100%. Or like if people are selling their house or car or whatever. I mean, they would be happy on any
Yeah,
anything
any
over like
extra
20, 30
return.
percent be sweet. So,
Yes, exactly. In any other
but when it
scenario,
comes to
30%
putting
huge.
in parlays, people become the greediest people in the world. Like
Yeah,
one of the first thoughts in my head is I think of, I see on Instagram a lot of people Taylor get hyped up and do parlays like the Matty Betts.
yeah.
What's
Like
that? The
a thousand
th-
to 100,000 or 10,000 to 100,000.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what he calls it. The something parlay where he tries to hit the
Oh, um, where he's at, he's like does a submission, decision, or
yeah.
KO. They do it for baseball too. God, I can't think of what he says it is, but yeah, I mean which is good if he hits often. But it's like even you see him. I mean, he's pretty honest and open about it. He might hit like two or three of those a year, but if he's betting
Yeah.
10 grand, 3 or 4 times a month, he's losing money long term, even though it looks juicy as shit.
Yeah, but just to make the point of like, that's how a lot of people want to bet, and that's why the majority of us lose most of the time. But
Yeah.
that's what you get when you're taking high risk, high reward plays. You're not always. That's why the 5 for $100 bets or whatever are so juicy because they're not supposed to hit.
Yeah, exactly. So again, bankroll management, focus on one or two main picks, use that for your main budget, and then just sprinkle on your bigger, larger parlays.
Yeah. Oh, it's called the cycle parlays.
The
That's
cycle
what.
parlay, yes,
Sorry, I
the
was so
cycle
stuck
parlay.
on that word cycle. I was like, oh my god, I'm having a brain freeze.
That's what it is, though, cycle parlay. He popped
Yeah,
it.
but
I
I
got
mean, just any parlay where you're betting, like that too many things to happen or too many specific things to
it.
happen.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better to just be safe and say, hey, I think this guy's going to win tonight. It's only going to win me a couple bucks, but, I feel like this guy, there's no way this guy loses. And if you can go to sleep at night and not worried about losing that money, then take that risk.
Yeah, exactly. But so same thing, like with the martingale, it's not. I'm not necessarily winning a lot every single fight, but overall, I'm over 3x the starting. I think we started with 100, and it's at like 315 now. So again, in 6 months, I mean, it's not juicy, it's crazy, but again, if you're a larger better and started with 1,000, you'd be over 3,000, or started with 10,000, you'd be over 30,000, doing the exact same picks and bets. So again, sometimes just betting safe is better.
Yeah, maybe as the year goes on, I'm so happy that you're tracking our bets because that will give us an honest like results. But
Yeah.
it'd be kind of fun to see like if we could really run it up and be like real serious for a couple of months where we're taking like straight bets and we're taking guys that we're like, hey, this guy's not losing, and
Yeah,
betting
no,
less pretty
I'm
and just
down.
really trying to run it up.
Because again, like when we were doing your locks originally, I was just doing it for one unit, but now I'm going to start pressing it because we're up 4 units. So even after we bet right now, we're down a quarter unit, even if everything lost after Saturday. So we're basically even if everything got bust. But again, we think like you said, we just start slowly trying to press the winnings to get better bets. I think nobody has a perfect winning streak forever.
No, and at the end of the day, the guy that's supposed to win 9 out of 10 times might lose. So that's just
Yeah.
how it goes. But I do think that it there is an advantage to to watching these fights, and being a
Oh yeah.
serious fan because the personality of these fighters. Like how the stylistic matchups are going to look like, and not everything goes as predicted. But I definitely think being like a real fan does give you an edge when it does come to the betting.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and you pulled out well with your NBA picks, right?
Yeah, I called the NBA Finals, man. Spurs versus Knicks, and I
Yeah.
just cashed out pretty big on the Knicks. So
That's perfect, dude. So again, like you said, I think when you're a fan and you really watch and pay attention, it makes such a difference versus just the casual better, looking for just parlays, huge favorites because favorites always get beat up. Unfortunately, it'd be easy if favorites won all the time.
right, I think I think though, like with betting on multiple sports, I would say though that fighting, especially championship fights, underdogs in championship fights are probably the livest underdogs you can bet.
Agreed, 100%, dude.
I
Yeah.
mean, you could maybe say that in all sports, because at that point, that's the best of the best. Even if the other opponent has advantage. You know, anytime it's a championship fight, these are the best two teams in the league or
Yeah.
division or weight class, whatever sport it is. So I think that's, in my opinion, the best time to bet underdogs that are really could win for your money is if it's a some sort of title fight.
Well, like you said, that's what we've really seen this year. The underdogs have been, super profitable for the main or co-main event. Almost every fight card, it seems like.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like the Strickland winning, and then now um,
Gaethje winning.
Gaethje winning, and then even Gone, in my opinion, winning versus Pereira. That was pretty surprising to me as well. Like that
Yeah.
really humbled me. So
Like you said, I think Peoria on paper looks better, but I just don't think he could handle the power of Gon moving up the weight class. He's just not used to those heavier, fists, basically, those heavier guys.
yeah, and people kept saying, "Oh, Pereira's bigger. Look, Pereira's bigger." And I'm just thinking he might be a little bit taller, like weigh the same, but I mean, you could just tell looking at the two guys. One guy's absolutely jacked to the gills,
Yeah.
and Pereira just looks like a big guy.
And even just having all that extra muscle probably slowed him down more than when he was a little leaner and thinner. And again, just he probably didn't adjust or make his game plan different. He still was fighting like he was a 185 pounder.
He honestly though, he probably will still be successful fighting in the heavyweight division because of
He
how
will
weak
be.
it is overall.
Yeah,
If
he
it
will
was a
be.
stronger division, then maybe he would have to go back. But with that being so weak, I think he'll be able to stay there if that's what he chooses to
I could
do
see
going
those guys
forward.
running it back next year sometime.
Yeah. So, and you don't know what Aspinall's going to do at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be starring in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
He's got to get some more eye surgeries. Who knows, dude?
But all right, guys, those are our picks for UFC Fight Night. Kape versus
Horiguchi.
Horiguchi. Write our picks and follow us on YouTube and Instagram.
Yep, you guys got it. Be safe, bet smart, enjoy the picks.